Welcome back, family, and today we have a fresh information coming out of Mali. Now, the FLA sect actually dropped a certain descriptive information about how they launched a ground assault on a ground capability of the Malian, armed forces drone capability. So, ladies and gentlemen, based on their information, they said they launched it, uh, these drones, the FPV drone, into a Malian, camp, and they were able to annihilate something. But when we studied this information critically, we noticed that what they claimed that they destroyed was actually fake, because the ground capability was actually surrounded with two layers of nets. So if you watch this video critically, you will notice at the end of it that the drone scrambled like something that fell off. And the receipt came out that the drone actually crashed.
الله أكبر الله أكبر تريم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله أكبر.
Because these people, with all the training they've gotten from the countries that fund them, they don't still know how to maneuver a drone. And that makes me ask a critical question. These guys that call themselves as Awadians, who are Tuaregs of Algerian origin, Algeria has refused to accept them. Now they want to enforce that acceptance in Mali, and it is in the discretion of the Malian people to reject them. You can easily see that, they don't just have that high IQ to really, really understand how different type of capabilities work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video. So you can actually see that even before the drone actually reached where it's supposed to get to, they started yelling Allahu Akbar. No concentration, nothing, no show of discipline, no capability. The maneuverability was poor. They don't even pay attention to the fact that the blades might actually hit something, right? Look at the picture. If you look at this picture critically, you will see that there is a net that surrounds the entire perimeter of this drone capability, of this ground capability. But the Azawadians actually flooded the old X. Like, oh, we did this, we did that. They released so many layers. Now, I'm going to tell you something, right? This is a complete show of incompetence. They don't have what it takes to ambush, attack, or kind of break the Malian armed forces at this point. Now we have to ask a question. Why are the Azawadians continuously trying to attack with a drone? Number one, the Malian armed forces have badly demilitarized the Azawadian. That is one thing you should know. So to save the little manpower they have, now they had to start using the drone capability. Have they been successful with it? Hell no. Most of the time, their drone gets jammed. Do you understand? By the electronic warfare. There are so many capabilities that the Malians have to have been able to keep these people quiet. Now, the Malians have not just demilitarized them, the Malians have now created a buffer zone. If you look at the northern parts of where this affairs normally take place, the Malians have actually pushed them closer to the Algerian border. That is why, and the Malians so many times have hit them right at that border. So making them go to the Algerian territory. And it is from that outskirts of the Algerian territory that they launched most of this attack. They use their surveillance drone, they use a lot of things, but still the capabilities are in there. The Algerians are not accepting them. Now, look, these people, you can see that they are on top of a grass when they actually launched this type of assault. They glorified and all of that. So what they're doing now is a sort of, yes, Algeria is not accepting us, Mali is not accepting us. So it's a sort of, let us destroy what we can destroy. But at the end of the day, the Malians have been able to push them out. And you see this military infrastructure they're trying to attack. That is the line the Malians created. So that is where the Malians monitor them from. So whatever they do, you can see that there was no attempt to shoot down the drone or whatsoever. So in their mind, they believe that the Malians did not even see them. I can guarantee you that the Malians actually knew that drone was coming. But there was no point in hitting the drone because they know that the ground capability was already protected. Now, after some of their, allies in the UAE discovered that this drone capability actually failed and it was woeful, they now gave them uh, an advice that instead of attacking this, they should try to attack this vehicle. That these capabilities is where the Malian, is what the Malian use in controlling their drones and all of that they use in striking them. Because the truth is, the Malians have struck them to the point where they don't even spend the seconds comfortably in the Malian territory. You will notice something if you pay critical attention to that video, that immediately they were done. Either the drone fell, they did not care. You could see that they started scrambling. It was as if they all scattered and run away from that direction. That is just to show you how uncomfortable these people are. And the reason why they are uncomfortable is because most of the time, when they launch an FPV drone or a fiber optic drone, what the Malians do is immediately they are shooting it down, they are launching a counter offensive to find the drone unit, the control unit of that drone, and to find the control unit personnel, and they will actually launch a decapitation assault on that control unit capabilities. So the Azawadians they are very, very well aware of this. So that's why you saw that at the end of the video, everybody started scrambling. Well, that is that with that. So now we have an information, right? The United States has now removed Mali from the list of countries that was being placed on the traveling bond that was from the region of $5,000 to $15,000. You know, this bond actually was placed on Mali in the first place because the government of Mali refused to accept the imposed migration, negotiation that they should import some people that the United States termed illegal migrants, that they should, enforce them on Mali. And Mali said, since there are no Africans among those people, don't even bother sending them at all. And the Malians stood their ground. And immediately they imposed this bond. The Malians actually sent a retaliative bond, imposed it on the United States itself. So after so many times they discovered that the Malians weren't ready to cave in or bow or make any type of concession, now by themselves, they've removed it. Because the question is this: what does the Malians have to gain in the United States? Anybody that has a critical thinking will know that it's the United States that has a lot to benefit from Mali, not otherwise. Let's get it clear. we are beyond this level of being brainwashed. Strategically, the United States need Mali more than the Malians need United States. Because can anyone show me one country in the world that the United States has improved significantly the way Russia improved Libya during the time of Gaddafi? So, and look at all the countries that are in this list that the United States, places banner: Mauritania, Tanzania, Gambia, Zambia, Malawi, Principe, Sao Tome, all African countries. So if you're an African and you think that when we say this type of thing that we don't just like the US, you must be joking, right? Why is it that it's only African countries, right? And if your country is not here, it only means one thing: your government has one way or the other negotiated their way out of their name not being on this list. So those that still remain on this list are government that kind of rejected outrightly, and possibly, they don't have anything to leverage on. The United States don't have any strategic, benefits to gain from them. So they will remain on that list. But if you put Mali on that list and the government is not even willing to back down, they already know that, look, every time, the more we keep those people on this list, the more we lose to these people. Now, after the US removed the name of Mali from this list, this diabolic list, you know what they did? They now released the statement: the United States has now withdrawn all non-essential personnel from Mali. Washington believes that the country is no longer safe. Why? They said out of fuel shortage, inconsistent electricity supply and all of that. They said so, that it's dangerous for the citizen, that they will continue to withdraw their personnel. Now they've withdrawn the non-essential personnel, right? But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to speak against this post, right? What I will do is this. The British, look, today alone, the Malian government received 8 different ambassadors that have now, they happily came to Mali to resume their duties. And one of those ambassadors is the British ambassador. If you look at the way the British ambassador actually celebrated the resumption of his duty, this guy completely even made a whole video. And, when they talk about the fuel situation in Mali, you think there is no fuel at all. But how come there are cars moving as this British citizen was actually talking? Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video.
Monsieur le ambassadeur. Ouais. La yuti kangalati la malomandi. Nam. La yuti la malomandi. Nam. Ala moluda mama bela kaya. Ali siriso mama be wala. Okawu sali do fanata. Nam. Sabu yebo ala molu tekeleni. Nam. Assalamu alayka ibonya bedelia.
Aoniche, ne Togoko Angus McKee, Naye Dunaye Malila. I am new in Mali. Je suis nouveau au Mali. Je suis ravi de commencer ce voyage passionnant en tant que l'ambassadeur du Royaume-Uni à la République du Mali. C'est la première fois que je suis au Mali, mais j'ai toujours admiré le patrimoine historique et la culture moderne du pays. De Mansa Moussa à la musique de Feu Toumani Diabaté ou Amadou et Mariam. Et au football malien de l'English Premier League comme Sheikh Doucouré ou Ibn Ayez Dunanier Malila. Et je suis déjà captivé par ce beau pays et la chaleur des Maliens. Le Mali a tant à offrir et j'ai hâte de tout découvrir. J'ai déjà commencé à apprendre le Bamnakan. J'ai hâte de visiter les régions du Mali, de rencontrer les gens et d'apprendre plus sur la culture malienne. N'ayez Dunanier Malila. Mais je peux déjà voir le partenariat profond et significatif qui existe entre nos deux pays. Notre partenariat bilatéral se déroule sur 3 axes principaux: pour aboutir à la stabilité et la prospérité future du Mali, la sécurité régionale, le développement et consolider une société inclusive et en plein essor. Nos relations se caractérisent par un respect mutuel et un partenariat véritable. N'ayez d'unité Malila. Et je suis ici pour écouter, comprendre et renforcer les liens entre nos deux pays. Ensemble, nous pouvons relever les défis et créer des opportunités pour les générations futures. N'ayez d'unité Malila. Mais je me sens déjà chez moi. J'ai hâte de travailler pour le renforcement d'un partenariat productif et de travailler avec vous tous. Merci beaucoup, Mali. Thank you, Mali. Nantara Nyugamfe, Ambeta Yorojan, Kambensoni.
So, the propaganda can only travel so far. Okay? So, and this information is for those that know that, look, the best thing that these people can do is to sell propaganda. These people don't care about the reality. Their only interest is the narrative. As long as the narrative suits what they want to achieve, it's okay. They don't care about what the reality is. So if you still align yourself with this type of people, you already know the end result. Now, in the midst of all the squabble, Russia stepped in. And how has Russia stepped in? Russia has now decided today to deliver fuel, wheat, and fertilizers from Russia to Mali. Russia commits to supplying 160,000 to 200,000 tons of oil monthly to Mali. The partnership extends even to several other benefits. Yes, it's a beneficial partnership, it's a mutual partnership where, there will be something that will be exchanged for something. Does Mali have fuel? Does Mali have oil, within its region? No, but it has gold, right? Can the Malian authorities pay for this? Absolutely. So, Mali is allied with Russia for a reason. And Russia stepping in at this point in time is only beneficial. Okay? So, this old dance, Gangnam dance that the United States is doing, it won't work. Now, to cause confusion, right, in Mali, these people try to, create a sort of, energy blockade and all of that. But Russia can really, really spot what was going on. And they stepped in. Russia is one of the largest oil transporters in the world. They have some of the largest oil refining infrastructure. Can they meet up with this? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would they be happy to do it? Absolutely. Does Mali have to obey all the secondary sanctions that people talk about on the internet? Oh, we are going to impose sanctions, and all. Mali doesn't care about all of that. So the Malians will continuously buy this fuel. So all those Malians in diaspora that continue to sell propaganda about the situation in Mali, like people like Madi Konate, so what would they say about this type of information now? Let's move forward, right? Now we're getting reports from anonymous sources that the Nigerian army, they are now furious. The regular soldiers, the soldiers that are going to be fighting on the front line, they are furious. And why? Now there are information that the soldiers are furious because the army is now going to be deploying them with repentant Boko Haram terrorists that they don't trust. One day you hear that the Nigerian military is moving forward. Then the next day you will hear that somebody somewhere is trying to push them backward. I know that the civilians in Nigeria no longer have faith in the military. But here's the catch. There are some people that take critical decisions in this country. And they are trying to mess up the military structure of the Nigerian armed forces. They've infiltrated it to a certain level. The biggest infiltration was during the Buhari regime. The biggest infiltration was during the Buhari regime. They were setting the stage, I mean, Nigeria turned into a whole chaos, complete chaos during the Buhari regime. And, now that we're in the Tinubu regime, it's just like it continues. I don't even know what Tinubu is doing. I don't know if he's trying to alleviate the situation and all of that. But the thing is, now that we are hearing that they're trying to deploy the repentant Boko Haram with them, I can tell you that some people, they are not happy with the recent victories of the Nigerian armed forces. They're not happy with it because those people that were liberated from information, they were Fulani militias. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, Fulanis and all this, they know that. I know there are good Fulanis, but the majority of Fulanis, to be honest with you, this is not a malicious claim or something. Majority are bad. In Mali is the Fulanis. The JNIM is a Fulani sect. Just to be clear on that. They fight for the Fulani interest, the JNIM. In Burkina Faso is the Fulani. In the region of Mopti to Burkina Faso to Farabugu is the Fulanis. In Niger is the Fulanis. Even the northern Nigerians know is the Fulani. So what are we talking about? In Chad is the Fulanis. In northern Cameroon is the Fulanis. So what are we talking about here? So now the repentant Boko Haram, they are Fulanis. So some people, the way we celebrated this victory of Nigeria, they are very, very sad because it affects their strategic interests. Now they are pushing buttons. Then you are hearing that, oh, now they will now be deploying the soldiers with the repentant Boko Haram. I think a lot of people have not really studied the loyalty that the Fulanis have with themselves. I can guarantee you, those will be the people that will call their brothers. This is where we are going to pass. We're going to pass through this place. I just wish our brothers the best of luck and I wish them, more blessings and I hope they stay safe. We've reached the point where you have to watch your own back. I don't know when Nigeria became this, but this is just the situation. Now we're hearing information from Mali that some of the Malian citizens are even more happy with this fuel blockade. Why? According to this local, that's the video you can see here. This man actually complained that, look, since this fuel blockade started, we stopped seeing, movement of jihadists because they are equally affected by the fuel crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this information? Give me your opinion. It's your boy 7200 signing out to Self before I go. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm actually working today, so yeah, we'll give more information about Burkina Faso and what is going on in the Anifa forests tomorrow because we are getting reports, but we are still doing the groundwork to fact check, to confirm, and do a lot of things. Thank you and bye bye.